Yo, what's up everyone? Back for this Friday slate. Happy Friday to everybody watching this video. We have a full 15 game slate on hand for today. So let's get right into it. Don't want to waste too much time. Before we get started, if you could drop a like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that. And if you want to get notified whenever I upload, you can hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button. And you can check out the website, dfsprocess.net, links in the description. If you want to join for NFL Early Bird Special, or for baseball that's going on right now, both are very cheap, season-long packages. So today we have a couple of pitchers that really stick out with Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer. Don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. Cole's been really good. He's coming off a gem against the Orioles where he had 14 strikeouts, and then he had a 12 strikeout game against the Cubs. Scherzer's been pretty much the same way. He's just been so dominant, 33 and 47 his last couple starts. He's a little cheaper than Garrett Cole, and he has been a little more consistent. I'll take a chance on Max Scherzer here at home against this Diamondbacks offense. He's been a little better at home for his career, and this Diamondbacks team does strike out a decent amount. And Scherzer's just been looking like how he's been his whole career. His last couple starts, he started off the season pretty shaky, just giving up a lot of hits. He had an 11 hit game, giving up 8 hit game. But lately, the hits have gone down and the earned runs have gone way down. So at 11.5, he's my favorite pitcher of the day. I think you can look at Giolito if you're playing GPPs, just because he's been so dominant. But I don't think I would be willing to pull the trigger on him in cash games with Scherzer and DeGrom just a little more expensive than Giolito. To pair with Scherzer, I'm going to look here in the mid-range. I think you can go with Ponce de Leon at 84. I also don't mind Rodriguez at 8,000, but I really like Chris Bassett here. He's at 7,800. He definitely has upside. He started off the season really hot. It's only been a handful of starts for him because he did start the season injured, I believe. But if you look at his game logs, you would think he hasn't been pitching well as of late, but it's been mainly a matchup thing. He's faced a couple of teams that just don't strike out that much, and the Astros don't strike out that much, and the Angels strike out pretty much nothing. They have one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball, and his last start was in Texas in that heat. It's a completely different spot here facing this terrible Seattle offense. Seattle has really fallen off a cliff. They started off 13-2 on the season, and since then I think they're 16-40. Their offense has fallen off a cliff. Their pitching is terrible. Playing them at home in this ballpark is great. He also doesn't give up that many home runs. And he's been pretty good with the walks, even though he can get into trouble with that. He's been good as of late with the walks. At 7,800, he has 30-point upside. And the Seattle team does strike out a ton just because they're dealing with so many injuries. And the guys they have that are replacing the injured players just strike out a lot. So I like Bassett here at 7,800. He has a ton of upside. And I feel like he's going to bounce back in this one. So going with Scherzer and Bassett, I think, is the way I want to go on this slate. Starting off at third base today, there's one guy that's price tag I'm going to bite. It might bite me in the butt, but I'm going to take a chance and go with Jose Ramirez here at 3,500. Just seems a little too cheap given the matchup. He was 3,500 the last couple games, but the matchup here is just so much different. Facing Ryan Carpenter, one of the worst starting pitchers in the league. This season, Carpenter has been terrible. 7.89 ERA. He's coming off got completely shelled in his last start against the Twins. 10 hits in just 3 2/3, 2 home runs, 8 earned runs, only 1 strikeout. Only has 19 strikeouts in 29 innings, giving up 39 hits and 9 bombs. Just terrible, terrible numbers. Jose Ramirez has been a little better against lefties than righties this season, and for his career, that's been the case. And even though Ramirez hasn't been hitting the ball well, he's been still super aggressive on the base paths. He has 16 stolen bases, even though he's hitting under 200, which is extremely impressive. Against lefties, he's been respectable, 273 with a couple bombs. He strikes out way less against lefties, too, with just a 9% K rate. I feel like the spot here is really, really good, given how bad Ryan Carpenter is. Carpenter has been... I don't know why he's still getting starts, but I guess Detroit they just don't have any other option. But he should get crushed here. Not crushed, but at least I think he's going to get taken advantage of by guys like Lindor, and maybe Ramirez can finally have a good game here. But on this season, righties have a 635. Career-wise, righties have a 635 slugging against him. Lefties have also teed off with a 566 slugging. He has just a 13.8% K rate to righties. Home run per 9 really sticks out at 3.2. And the xFIP is over 5.3, and the FIP is 7.6. Just dreadful numbers for Carpenter. I expect Jose Ramirez to at least be able to do something. Should be able to get on base and hopefully can take a steal, even though he's facing a lefty. At shortstop, I like Manny Machado. A $4,300 price tag is what you normally expect to see out of Machado on a regular basis. Even at that time, I would think even at that price tag, I would say he's a little underpriced if he's just like a normal game, not in Coors or anything. The fact that this game is in Coors facing Jeff Hoffman, who's been really bad this season, he's been a little better as of late, but his ERA is still above 8. And righties have just crushed Hoffman. I know Machado hasn't been great as of late, but I definitely think I wanted to play him in Coors. It's a tremendous ballpark upgrade going from Petco into this park. And Hoffman has just been getting crushed against righties, and Machado has so much power. 737 slugging given up to righties this season, a 368 batting average. He has given up a 2.92 home run per 9 to righties. The xFIP is almost at 5. At home, he hasn't been much better either. Just feel like Machado can do some more damage against him. He's been pretty good with the strikeouts this season, and Machado does strike out a decent amount, but Machado should get plenty of at-bats here. He's still hitting right at the heart of the lineup. I think he can do damage here in Coors at a really favorable price tag at 43. I kind of do like the A's offense here facing a lefty, Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez has been decent this year. The A's have a high total, and they've been really good against left-handed pitching this season. So I'm definitely going to be interested in them, especially with their prices very cheap. Gonzalez gives up power, 10 bombs on the season, 91 hits, only 59 strikeouts, which is great to see if you're going to be stacking the team, just facing a pitcher that gives up a lot of pitches to contact for the most part. And I'm going to start it off with Chris Davis, who's really cheap at $4,100. He's been hitting the ball really well as of late with 3 multi-hit games in his last 4 games. And this year he's been different in the fact that he's been crushing left-handed pitching. Last season he was much better against righties, although he still had a lot of power against lefties. But this season he's not only hitting for a higher average against lefties, but he has a much higher ISO. 298 batting average against lefties this year with 7 bombs in just 57 at-bats. That gives him a 368 ISO and a 667 slugging percentage. And he's striking out like 6% lower against lefties this year. At home, he hasn't been hitting the ball super well this season. But last year, he was great at home. He was even better of a hitter in the Coliseum. So I'm not worried about that. Chris Davis has power has the power that he can hit a bomb in any ballpark. Last year, he had 269 at home, had 23 bombs. Just so much power to both lefties and righties. And Marco Gonzalez, you can definitely take advantage of him, given the fact that he pitches to contact. Chris Davis does strike out a decent amount. But the fact that Marco Gonzalez doesn't strike out that many people, I think Chris Davis will be able to put the ball in play, and if he does, chance that he can do some damage with the way he's been hitting. So it's like a 17.8% K rate to righties, 5.42 xFIP. That's even worse than Carpenter's. And righties have a 444 slugging against him. Even lefties have hit him well. I like going with a few A's, specifically Chris Davis at 41. And I like Piscotty too. Just extremely cheap at $3,700. He's been hitting the ball decent as of late. Not great. But he's been really good against lefties, which I like to see. This year he's been crushing left-handed pitching. And he does have power, on pace for like 25 home runs, I think, on the year. This season he has an incredibly high batting average against lefties. He's batting .365 against lefties. He's done like all of his damage against lefties this year at .365 and 63 at-bats. 3 home runs. Has a 206 ISO, a 571 slugging percentage. And he's been killer at home. .331 average at home. 6 bombs at home. On the road, he's only batting .180, so And those are not even a small sample size. It's a 31-game sample size. So whatever reason, Piscotty's been hitting the ball much better in the Coliseum. So that I'll definitely take that, and I'll definitely take his price tag here at 3,700, given the way he's been hitting against lefties. So that does it for the video. Those are the picks I like: Scherzer, Bassett, Jose Ramirez, just because he's a little too cheap against Carpenter, Machado because he's facing Hoffman, who's been crushed against righties, and I like a couple A's.